Welcome back. We are in the third video of this Weebly ePortfolio series, and in the previous videos we had created our site and we had created our pages and we had organized our menu the way that we wanted to do that. So now we are ready to start adding in actual content into these pages. So if we are on the home page and we are in the build tab, what we are looking at is the kind of blank starting page in Weebly, and we see a couple of things up front. We see a little button up here that says choose a layout or drag elements here, and when they talk about elements, they are talking about these things over here in the left, and these are the individual types of things, I guess is a way of saying it, that you can add into your page. And if we take a look, we see things like title, text, image gallery, image slideshow, embed code, which is something that we will actually take a look at when we get into a further video and we talk about a service called Scribed for embedding documents. We also see, this is probably the most helpful area, the media, where we see HD video and audio. But if you notice with those two things, it has that little star up there, and that's basically saying, hey, you can't use these unless you upgrade your account with Weebly, which is unfortunate, but we have ways of working around that, and mainly that is YouTube. So I will go ahead and say you should, especially if you've got a lot of videos that you will be sharing on your ePortfolio, you probably want to create a YouTube account and you want to add in your videos to YouTube so that you can pull directly from YouTube and embed it into Weebly. If you have audio, let's say you did news broadcasts or something like that, you can take that audio. I would suggest taking that audio and just making a video out of it. Just put a blank title card up, with the description maybe, and have the audio, and then export it out so that you can upload that video into YouTube. And that is how we can get around Weebly wanting us to pay for direct video and audio. So these are the different kind of elements. You can play around with these, and you can see what they do. There's even Flash. There's all kinds of different things. File. So you can play around with these, but we'll probably mainly just be looking at video and audio. Video and photography. In this example, anything else you're willing to try out and experiment with, but there probably isn't much use for anything other than really adding YouTube and adding photos into your ePortfolio. So let's move back into the main page here, and let's take a look at this choose a layout button. And if we click on it, it's going to give us, basically it's kind of suggesting how you might want your site to look. If for your about page, it has some suggestions. It has, if you were selling services, how you could order. Basically, these are recommended layouts or designs for your pages. If you had like a restaurant, here's a menu page, and you might say portfolio, hey, that's what I'm making, so let's go to that tab and look at it. And if you've got a lot of photography or something like that, you might want to play around with some of these suggested layouts, but I'm not going to worry about that, and we're just going to work with the default blank layout. Again, when it comes to the design and look and feel of your ePortfolio, you are the creator, so it is up to you to make those decisions. There is no right way or wrong way specifically to do it, but you obviously want to have something that looks nice to the eyes, and in my opinion is something that's fairly simply laid out and neatly organized. So in that sense, I'm not going to worry about those suggestions. I'm going to start building just using the elements. So on my home page, well, there's probably a couple of things I want to have on my home page, including my name right at somewhere on the page, and we don't see that. We just see the default text. So let's go ahead and take care of that. So by default, Weebly calls your site my site, and I'm going to go up here and click it, and I'm going to actually change that to my name, And this little tagline or whatever you want to call it, subline, I'm just going to say something like, welcome to my e-portfolio. And other than that, there's probably not really much that, I'm not going to have all of my work examples on my homepage. A homepage is just a brief, landing page to say, this is Kenneth Wilson, this is his e-portfolio. So I might want to have some sort of image of myself at the very least, probably, or maybe, an image or sample image of some kind of work that I've done. So I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to add a simple image. And so when you decide that you want to add an element or a piece of media into the page, what you do is you come over here to the left and you find that element that you want, in this case an image, and you click on it and you drag it into, and you'll see that, this kind of box lights up, and I can drag it in and I can let go, and it puts in basically like a spacer that says upload an image. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to click on it and it's going to open up this window, and this is where I can go find the image that I want to use. I can have it off of my computer. I can have an image URL. If I've already uploaded into my media library and I favorited them, that's there. Or I could search my media library. I haven't added anything yet, so I've got nothing really to search for. So I'm going to click on the upload a photo from your computer. And just for the sake of example, let's say that my name is Rick Grimes. I am a zombie butt-kicking sheriff from Georgia. It's the zombie apocalypse, and my portfolio is going to showcase what a great zombie butt-kicking sheriff I am from Georgia. So I'm going to use images of Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead just as an example for this tutorial. So there we go. There's my image. So when people land on my homepage, they can see that I'm a zombie butt-kicking sheriff. So that's how I add a single image into my ePortfolio. And when we get to the page on photography, we'll talk more about image galleries or image slideshows, which is probably more suitable if you've got a series of images than just adding one at a time. So let's do that. Let's go over to the photography page. And to get back into pages that I've created, I come up here to the Pages tab, and I can see all of my pages. And if I click on one, it automatically changes. This page automatically changes to that. And as I would expect, it's blank because I haven't added anything to it. Nice thing is that this title and tagline stays the same throughout. But now I'm on a blank page here. So I want to add some photography into my photography page. So let's do that. Let's go back into the Build tab, and this time I'm going to let's do the slideshow. You can play around with the difference in look between a gallery and a slideshow, but I think typically a slideshow looks a little nicer on an ePortfolio. So I'm going to drag that element down, and it's going to say what kind of slideshow do you want to have, and I can see there are a number of options that I can choose. I like the ones where you can kind of see that you've got different images coming up versus just the click-through. But again, this is your decision as to which one works best for your ePortfolio. So I'm going to click this thumbnail on the bottom and continue. And it's going to say, drag your images off of your desktop in here or upload your images from your computer. I'm going to upload from my computer, and I'm going to I've got 4 just for the sake of example here. And it'll take a second to do its thing as it uploads those images. And after it's done, I can click the Add Photos. Oh, I'd take that back. That's to add more. I can click the Save button, and there we go. It adds in the images. It puts the the full-size image preview up there, and then you get a little thumbnail of the ones to come. And I can click on it to scroll through the images. And I've got some options up here. I can make it autoplay. I can tell it to have a transition, how long each image is going to stay on the screen. So this will automatically start looping through. And let's take a look at it real quick. And as I forgot to do with the home page, I'll make sure to do it now, is, of course, again, I have to make sure that I click publish after I've added in content or changed anything, or else it's not going to be live up on the web. So now that I've clicked publish, I know it all will be. And when I come to my home page, well, my image is not there, and I suspect that's because I didn't click publish on that page. But let's take a look at photography real quick, and there's my image gallery. And if I can click play and let it cycle through, or pause. But let's figure out what happened here with my home page and why that image didn't show up. And I suspect that's because I didn't click save, or I didn't click publish at the time. So there's that image that we did. Let's go find that image that we had. There it is. And this time I'm going to click publish. And if I come back in and refresh, there it is. So that was a really good example to kind of visually show you how important it is to make sure that you click this publish button up here after you've made any sort of changes into your ePortfolio. So now that we've looked at still images and image galleries, let's take a look at how we would add video into the ePortfolio. And again, I said that we can't do it directly through Weebly because we're using the free account, but we can utilize YouTube. So I'm just going to really quickly search for a video dealing with my fake persona for this tutorial, Rick Grimes, and I want to have a video that highlights how good I am at being a zombie butt kicker. So we're not going to actually take the time to watch the video, unfortunately, but we will take a look at how I can add that video into the ePortfolio. So if I come over, I want to get over to my videos page, so I'm going to come up here to pages and video. And here I am on my blank video page. There's nothing on it because we haven't added anything yet. So I'm going to come over to the build, and I am going to come down to YouTube. And I'm going to say I want a YouTube video in here. I click and I drag it, and this default YouTube video shows up on the page. And that's great, but that's not the video that we want to have. So I need to change the settings on that so that it knows what video I actually want. And if I just clicked somewhere inside of the video, I get this dialog box that pops up, and it's got some things that you can play around with. Position, I'm not quite sure what difference that's making, but I'll leave it where it is. Spacing, advanced, and if we see the advanced in the advanced screen, or in the advanced part of this, you see your YouTube video ID, and you see this kind of gibberish down here at the bottom. Well, what that gibberish is that's what's at the end of a YouTube URL. So if I'm looking at my YouTube URL up here, I see watch v equals and then a bunch of gibberish, and after that equal is your video ID. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to copy that, just that last little bit in the URL. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to come back into this page, and I'm going to delete out the default and paste in my video and hit the enter key, or maybe click off. Yep, there we go. And after a quick second, it loads up the video that I wanted. Again, that's the chunk that's here after the equal sign in the URL. And then I come in and changed it for your YouTube video ID. And if I publish and come back in and take a look at my video page, I should see my video embedded as I do. And from inside of here, I can click the play button. And just like any other YouTube video, I can full size it. And I can escape out of the full size and pause it and click on the ads that pop up in YouTube videos. So that's looking pretty good. We've got a video in our ePortfolio, and we've got images in our ePortfolio, but there's something that we are missing with our work. And a part of an ePortfolio is not only showcasing the work that you've created and done, but describing it to the viewer and talking about it. And particularly if you've worked on a video, let's say that multiple people worked on, you need to be precise about what your role in that project was or what you did. You don't want to take claim or claim that you've done the work of everything when you were only one part of that. So what do we do to add some sort of descriptions and stuff like that into our pages? And to do that, we utilize elements like title and text. So if I've got multiple videos that I am sharing with people, but there are different kinds of videos from different works and stuff like that. How am I going to organize that on the page? Well, what I would do is I would start with like a title, and if I click that element and drag it down, I'm going to drag it down on top, and it's going to put it in there. It's going to say click to edit. And so I've done that, and I would say, maybe I'd start with something like promotional videos. I'm just making this up. I don't really know what works or what fits for you as far as organizing it, but promotional videos seems like a good organizational title. So there we go, promotional videos up at top. And then probably what I would do is take the text element and drag it down underneath that and add some sort of like description. These are promotional videos that I made to show how good at killing zombies I am. And I would probably be a lot more elaborate about it. This project was a class project that was an assignment for this. I took on these roles and I helped this, and we produced this video, something like that. Description of your work. Let's go over to photography and do the same thing. I'd probably say something like, these are my headshots, and then add some text. These are headshots of me for promotional materials, or yada yada yada, whatever you want to put into it. But again, I would organize your series, your groups of work, with a title of some sort, and then a detailed description about that work and what role you played. So that's how you utilize title and text, and that's how I would suggest you organize your pages. So I think that's it for now in this video. We finally took a look at how we added in the content that we needed. So one last thing with content that we probably need to talk about is, especially with something like your resume page, right? You probably want to upload your resume. You might have PDF documents, you have writings that you want to add into your ePortfolio. And in the next video, we will take a look at a service called Scribed, which is a really useful service that allows you to directly embed documents into these sort of ePortfolios, so that the viewer doesn't have to click and download it and go find it and open it. It's right there in the page. And we'll talk more about that in the next video. So I'll see you then.